To book 10 qualified calls a month from cold email, you'd need 12 domains, 24 inboxes, and 5,000 contacts being refreshed every single month. Most B2B companies say that cold email doesn't even work, but they're running 2 domains and 6 inboxes, or even 1 domain and 20 inboxes. The volume was never close. Now, this video will walk through the math, the exact conversion rates, the infrastructure at each tier, and the 3 things that have to be perfect before volume even matters at all. Now, easily starting at the first step of the funnel, which will be the number of emails you send out each and every month. Now, these sends are just individual contacts reached. They do not include follow-ups. And when it comes to cold email, it's either a volume game or a segmentation game. And I'd suggest to play the volume game if your offer is unclear or the market is unclear. For this video, I'm going to be assuming that we're playing a volume game just because it's 2026, inboxes are crowded than ever, they're noisier than ever, and it's harder to get responses out of it. So if there was a number you were ever thinking of, how many emails a month do I need to send out to actually benefit from cold email? I'll always recommend minimum sending out 5,000 emails a month. So let's just say you're sending 5,000 emails a month. From there, how many replies can you expect? As I said before, these metrics are just averages from campaigns we have launched in the past. When it comes to cold email, strictly an average when it comes to reply rate, a benchmark you could set can be 1 to 2%. And following that logic, if you send out 5,000 emails a month with a 1% reply rate, you could expect 50 responses. And if you send out 5,000 emails a month with a 2% reply rate, you could expect 100 replies. And these replies include all types of replies, so it could be out of offices, positive replies, not interested, or reach out later. Now, once you've determined that you'd like 50 to 100 replies a month, from there, you'd have to see how many of those are actually interested. And honestly, this benchmark that is set out here is highly dependent on how relevant and targeted your copy is. It could range all the way from 10% positive reply rate all the way up to like 60, 70. And for example's sake, we're just going to be focusing on 10 to 40%. So let's just say if you send out 5,000 emails a month, 1% of them reply, you'll get 50 replies. Out of that, let's just say 10% of those 50 are actually interested, you would be getting 5 positive replies. On the other hand, if you're sending out 5,000 emails with a 2% reply rate, you'll get 100 replies, and out of those 100, if 40% are interested, you would be getting 40 interested responses. Now, a range from 5 to 40 positive responses, how many of them can you expect to book on a call? I'd say this number over here is highly dependent on your speed to lead. Now, what I mean by that, if you were to respond to your interested leads in a couple of days or even over 12 hours, the rate you book them into a call would dramatically drop by the minute. And a solution to getting a high booking rate from the interested responses would be implementing either a AI inbox agent with all your triaging steps installed into it, or second, it could be hiring a VA who could manually respond back to the emails. And then third will just be respond to the emails as soon as you can. And now leaning back to the example, if you send out 5,000 emails with a 1% reply rate and 10% of them are positive, which are 5 positive replies, you could expect, if you book 50% of them in, 2 calls a month. And on the other hand, if you're sending out 5,000 emails a month with a 2% reply rate, and out of those 2%, 40% are interested, and if you book in 50% of those interested, you will be able to book 40 calls a month. And honestly, the name of the game here is if you want to increase the number of calls you're booking every single month, you'd have to either increase the number of emails you're sending out or go off and work on making these metrics better. And how do you make these metrics better? For example, positive reply rate. Make sure your copy is more targeted and relevant. Positive reply to book call rate. You just have to make sure that your speed to lead is on par, less than 5 minutes. And there we have it. We've covered the first part, which is the conversion funnel, understanding the mechanism, understanding the numbers. So before you go off and launch your campaigns, you could set these KPI benchmarks so you know what goals you're reaching towards. Now you know the number of emails you need to send per month. You know the industry averages when it comes to cold email in your niche. From there, you've determined, okay, I need to send out, let's just say, 5,000 emails a month. From there, a big question would be, how many inboxes and domains do I need to get to send out that volume? And here is a matrix that lays it out all for you. So if you would like to book 5 calls a month, you would have to make sure that you have 6 domains that have DNS settings all set up. Along with that, with those 6 domains, 12 inboxes attached. And overall, this will cost you on average $200 a month if you go with purchasing your inboxes directly from Google. I think the price is around $8 to $9 per inbox. And then if you go ahead and also purchase the domains, this could be either from Namecheap, GoDaddy, or even Cloudflare. And I think the domain cost is around like $9 all the way to like $12 a year. Now, obviously, there are other alternatives such as inbox providers that provide it at a way cheaper price that you could go ahead and set up your infrastructure with. And then very easily, if you'd like to book 10 calls a month, make sure that you have 12 plus domains with that 24 inboxes attached. And if you'd like to book 20 calls a month, make sure you have 24 plus domains along with that 48 inboxes attached. And that will deem a cost of $1,000 a month if you go with standard routes. And honestly, I'd be lying if it was this easy. What I mean by that is if you start off with a standard of 6 domains, 12 inboxes, and you're getting the results you want, everything sounds good, booking the calls. Let's just say you scale your infrastructure. What I mean by that, you add 6 more domains on top, you add 12 more inboxes on top. Now, obviously, with scaling, a lot of problems can arise. One of many could be when you're scaling your infrastructure, some of the domains and inboxes have been blacklisted beforehand. That will make you have to start all over again. Second, you might be scaling your infrastructure, but your copy might be getting exhausted. So honestly, the moral of the story is not to expect that whenever you scale, you'll match out the numbers perfectly. Always, always, always in your team's head to make sure that you're working towards these numbers, right? To not set it as a concrete figure to hit, or you never really hit it, you mess up your infrastructure to try to send out more and more volume to get the results you want when the problems are already there within that you need to solve rather than avoiding it. And to be more specific, there are 3 things that if not implemented, volume would not matter at all. You could blast out tens of thousands of emails and still not get the results you want. Now, the first thing would be ICP clarity. You have to make sure that you're reaching out to the contacts you want to reach out to. By this, I mean cleaning up your list, looking through the industry column. Is it actually the industry you're targeting? And is the market actually big enough for you to target with cold email? Because this highly depends the volume targets you need to hit. Second would be your offer market fit. Very importantly, cold email doesn't create demand, it just surfaces demand. Okay, so your goal is to make sure that your copy is lining up with the market you're setting out to. And a metric we use is after 200, 300 sends, what are the responses we're getting out of those? And most importantly, the third thing would be your infrastructure health. If you have burned domains or even burnt inboxes, all your effort, all your hard work is going to waste. So first, make sure that your DNS settings are all set up, DMARC, SPF, TKIM. And then second, you have to make sure that your copy is free of spam words, spin tags, and refreshed either weekly or bi-weekly. At this stage of the video, you've understand how a cold email conversion funnel works. From there, you've understood if you want to send out, let's just say 5,000 emails a month, how many inboxes and domains you need out of those. Along with that, you've understood the 3 things that you'd need to have in order before you even send out one single email. And then lastly, let's move on to diagnosing kind of the reply rates, seeing from those numbers what you can improve in your cold email campaigns. And here we have it visually. Easily, you could screenshot this table and keep a note of it. But I'll just walk through each step of the process. Very easily, the first signal, if you're less than 1% reply rate, you have a massive deliverability problem. This action steps would be first, pause your campaigns. Second, put your inboxes back to warming up. And then third, go check if your domains are blacklisted. If your domains are blacklisted, trash those domains and even the inboxes underneath them, buy new domains and warm up new inboxes for set 14 days. The next signal will be if you have a less than 2% reply rate. This will heavily signal that you have an ICP or offer problem. And this is common at the start if you're targeting many niches or different markets to have this reply rate. So it's not really a problem then. But let's say if you're targeting one niche, one market, and you're getting less than 2% reply rate, that will be highly dependent on your offer or ICP. So action steps would be, don't stop your campaigns and don't scale it, fix your research, okay? What I mean by that is first, reduce the volume of emails you're sending out from your campaigns. And then second, send out new variants of copy to test out in the market. And if you're getting a 2 to 5% positive reply rate, this will heavily signal that you have a copy problem. What I mean by copy problem, it's not relevant or it's not targeted enough for them. So in this case, I would suggest rewriting your angles, not your subject lines, because they're already opening the email, they're replying to it. It would just be fixing the copy within the email. And then lastly, if all your metrics are looking good, if you're setting out 5,000 emails, you're getting a 2% reply rate. Out of those, you're getting a range of 10 to 40% positive reply rate. What if the big gap is booking the calls? Converting interested responses into book calls. In this scenario, a big problem would be your speed to lead. And obviously easier said than done, but try your best to respond in less than 5 minutes because again, they're on email. They'll just hit reply and then they'll go off to Netflix or Hulu and start watching their shows. Your goal is as soon as they reply back to your email, you reply back and get that call booked in. All in all, if you're running cold email and the results don't match the math, it's one of four things. It's wrong ICP, mispositioned offer, broken infrastructure, or not enough volume. And that's it. There's no fifth reason. Find your row on the diagnostic table and fix that layer. And overall, this is the math we run for every single B2B company when we take on to do their campaigns. If you want us to run it on your setup, pull your numbers, identify what tier you're at, and tell you exactly what needs to change, this is what we have a diagnostic call for. Just click the link in the description to book a call with us, and I hope this video was insightful.